All right, everyone, welcome. I'm really excited to walk you through something that's a genuine breakthrough in veterinary iron supplementation. Today, we're talking about FUCOHEMA, and I think you'll quickly see why it's about to become our new standard for iron therapy.
First, just a quick but important heads up. Everything we're covering here is for our internal training only, so please let's be sure to keep all this material within the company. Okay, here's a quick look at our game plan. We'll kick things off with the challenges we all face with iron supplements. Then we'll introduce the FUCOHEMA solution. After that, we'll dig into the data, talk about practical, in-clinic applications, and then wrap it all up with why this is a real game changer.
So let's start with Section 1, the Iron Supplement Challenge. We're going to talk about the common headaches we all deal with when it comes to conventional iron therapy. You know these all too well, right? That metallic, rusty taste that pets just can't stand. The nausea, the vomiting, the straight-up irritation of the gut lining. It all adds up to one huge problem: terrible compliance. If the pet spits it out or the owner just gives up because of the side effects, our whole treatment plan falls apart. So that's the problem. Now for the solution. This is where FUCOHEMA comes into the picture. And the magic behind it is something called lipofirm microencapsulation technology. So what exactly is this lipofir technology? Well, you can think of it as being built on 5 key pillars. It's a patented technology from Spain, and what it does is it wraps this special microcapsulation coating around a very stable iron core. The real genius here is that this coating allows for a slow, controlled release, and that's the secret sauce to its incredibly high bioavailability.
This slide really just nails the difference. See, traditional iron salts, they just dump free iron ions right into the stomach. That's what causes that awful metallic taste. And even worse, it kicks off something called the Fenton reaction, which basically just creates a bunch of nasty free radicals that damage the gut lining. Lipofir completely sidesteps this. It's like an armored car for the iron. That capsule protects it all the way through the stomach, masking the taste and preventing any of that irritation. It only opens up and releases its payload once it's safely in the intestine. It's just so much smarter.
Okay, the technology sounds fantastic, right? But the million-dollar question is, does it actually lead to better absorption? Let's get into the evidence, because the numbers here really do speak for themselves. First up, let's look at the preclinical rat models. The results are pretty staggering. Lipofir showed 2.7 times better absorption than ferrous sulfate. And get this, it was 3.5 times better than standard non-encapsulated ferric pyrophosphate. That's not a small jump, that is a massive leap forward.
And it's not just in rats. We see the same amazing story in the mouse studies. Here, the Lipofir group had nearly 5 times higher absorption rates compared to traditional iron salts. When you see this kind of consistency across different models, you know you're onto something really powerful. But look, preclinical data is one thing. What really matters is how it performs in the real world. And this is the clincher. In human clinical trials, Lipofir's bioavailability was shown to be right on par with Furplex, which, as you know, is a prescription-grade iron. This confirms its high clinical efficacy. It just works.
All right, the science is rock solid. So now let's talk about what this means for us in the clinic, day in and day out. Let's get into the practical side of things, how we actually use this.
So the big question is, when should FUCOHEMA be on your radar? What are those key cases where you should be reaching for this?
Well, the list of indications is broad and covers so many of the patients we see every single day. Of course, you've got your classic iron deficiency anemias and the anemia that comes with chronic kidney disease. It's also perfect for post-op recovery or trauma cases. And here's a big one: chronic inflammation, like an atopic dermatitis, or any kind of chronic blood loss from GI bleeds or parasites. And don't forget those high-demand situations, like growing puppies and kittens, or pets on those iffy homemade diets.
And you're going to love this part. The dosing couldn't be simpler. It's a basic weight-based chart, and it's just once a day. That's it. Just think about what that means for owner compliance. Getting a client to do something once a day versus twice a day, that's a world of difference. Now, one important clinical pearl here: just like any iron supplement, you've got to be mindful of potential drug interactions. Iron can bind up certain drugs and reduce their absorption. So the rule of thumb is really simple. Just give FUCOHEMA at least 1 hour apart from common meds like tetracyclines, fluoroquinolones, or levothyroxine. Easy enough. Okay, we've covered a ton of ground, so let's boil it all down now. What are the 3 absolute key takeaways you need to remember about FUCOHEMA?
When you put FUCOHEMA side by side with the other stuff on the market, it's really not a fair fight. You look at the iron form, this advanced microencapsulated technology versus old iron salts. You look at GI side effects, minimal to none versus a known risk. Dosing, once daily versus often twice. And then you throw in the powerhouse additives, it is truly in a class of its own.
Okay, takeaway number 1 is all about superior efficacy through technology.
The point is superior efficacy. The reason is that patented LipoFair technology, which delivers up to 5 times higher bioavailability. For example, think about a challenging case of CKD-related anemia. With FUCOHEMA, you can be way more confident that you're actually getting that iron absorbed and hitting the therapeutic levels your patient needs. So again, better technology leads to better results.
All right, takeaway number 2. This is a huge one: enhanced patient tolerance and compliance. So the point is better tolerance and compliance. And the reason is that amazing microcapsule that protects the gut. As an example, just picture that finicky cat with IBD or that dog with a sensitive stomach. With this gentle formulation, you're not going to be fielding calls about vomiting or GI upset. The owner will actually give the supplement, which means you'll actually get the clinical outcome you're aiming for. It's gentle, so it gets used. Simple as that. And our third and final takeaway. This is a comprehensive, once-daily formula. The point here is that it's a complete all-in-one formula. The reason is that it combines that highly bioavailable iron with essential blood-building cofactors like B vitamins, vitamin C, and fucodon. For example, instead of telling a client, okay, I need you to give this iron pill plus this B vitamin, you just hand them one bottle. You're providing a complete solution in one easy capsule. It's about simplicity and comprehensive supports all in one. So I'll just leave you with this thought. When you have a solution that offers massively superior absorption, is so much gentler on your patients, and is way more convenient for your clients, the real question is, why wouldn't you make this your new standard of care?